Our next speaker is Tim Wagner. He is going to teach us how to hack your body's operating system one breath at a time. Show of hands, who breathes? Anyone here breathe? All right, good. Tim, your target audience is here. I assume it's people who breathe, because if they don't breathe, like computers aren't really your audience, but breathing people, you're in the right room. So take it away, Tim.
Well, if anybody wants to actually challenge that and hold their breath for the time of my talk, and we'll see what happens afterwards, let's have a look. I'm happy for a challenge, right? But yeah, thanks a lot, Michael. Great appreciation. And what if the answer to seeking your inner peace and calm and happiness actually came from the other side of your next breath? That's very much what I'm going to be sharing with you in our time together here. So Mark Twain once said that there's two most important days in your life. The first day that you're born, and the second is the day you find out why. Now, I was very fortunate that I found out my why at the very young age of only 51. And life since then has become empowering, and it's become exciting and inspiring to me. My name's Tim Wagner. I'm an international speaker and also a breathwork alchemist. And I'm here today to equip you with a few tools to thrive in 2025 and breeze through it like a breath of fresh air. And I'm going to demonstrate this. So what I want to do is show you all how your God-given breath could be that answer that you're looking for. So I'm looking for participation here with a breath hack. Give me a thumbs up. Everybody here ready to breathe for a minute or two with me? I've got one hand, two hand. I can see you guys all down on here, and I can see the chats as well. So if anything comes up, please put it in there, and I'll come back to it just now. Excellent. So we've got a few people who want to breathe. The rest of you, hold your breath. All right, what you're going to be doing now. This is called feather breathing. So I want you to imagine that you've got a feather that you're holding in your hand 10 centimeters in front of your nose. And you're going to be blowing short, sharp breaths out your mouth to keep that feather afloat. Now, here's the trick. When you're breathing in, you're pushing your belly out. If you're not, it's reverse breathing, very unhealthy. So just practice that with me. When you're breathing in, your belly goes out. Now, this breath activation exercise you're doing all through your mouth. You're doing short, sharp breaths to keep that imaginary feather floating. Everybody, hands up, 10 centimeters in front of your nose. Let's go. Come on. There's a participation. Michael said, participate. That means everybody. I'm not going to call out anybody's name at all. Coach B. And I'm going to count you in. 3, 2, 1. You let your air out. Now let your feather go and blow. That's good. Michael, that's good. If you're feeling lightheaded, that's brilliant. If you're not breathing, well, good for you. Keep going. Float that feather. Float that feather. Come on. Okay, Coach B, your feather's floating, man. It's going down. It's going down. Come on. Come on. Let's go. Let's go. Blow. Now take a deep breath in. Breathe all the way in, lifting your arms up. And let it out in a big sigh. Let it go. Let it go. Shake your arms. That's brilliant. Brilliant. Hey, congratulations. You've just activated and awakened your nervous system, released the tension, and detoxed that stale air that sits in your lungs. And this is a great way to lift your body, lift yourself if you're feeling down in that afternoon. Even great one to do with kids. They love pretending to blow a feather. So if they're feeling down and you need to get their elevated their energy up, take that one away. How are we feeling now? Thumbs up if we're feeling good. Are we feeling awake and alive and activated? We're ready for this summit to benefit 100%. Now, I didn't always used to know about this stuff. In fact, I first learned how to breathe, which when you think about it, sounds a bit weird. But when I found out about breathing, I realized I didn't know how. So that actually makes sense. But it came to me in the most surprising of ways years after I'd quit a 27-year career in hospitality due to stress and on the verge of burnout. I used to feel stressed, stuck, and strained all the time. And I vividly remember the days when I would wake in the morning with my brain in a fog, just wishing for another hour's sleep. And as I'm thinking about the day, I feel my stress levels rise. Does anybody resonate with that? Put your hands up if you know somebody, if that's impacted you. There we go. Look at that. How many people are nodding? Yeah, even perhaps now. This was a time when I couldn't even imagine anything other than how do I get through another day? So how do I know it works? Well, Michael already alluded to that, because 100% guarantee you that if you're not breathing, it's tickets for you. So why don't we just keep breathing? But how? I want to share a quick story with you about a client of mine that I've been helping for the past 3 months. Her name's Cecilia, and when she came to me, she was referred by a previous client. I sat down with her and I said, Cecilia, who are you? And she just broke into tears. She says, I don't know. I'm lost. Her problem was stress had got to such a level, she was on the verge of burnout. But very fortunately, I understood her as I've been there, and I have a solution with her. And the solution that I provide actually comes from a program of mine. And it's called Life Mastery for Ambitious Leaders. And it's all about starting with your breath of life. Once you're understanding how you utilize your breathing, then we talk about reclaiming who you are now, establishing who you will become in your journey, aligning all your goals and visions with your new element of who, harmonizing or transforming your mindset, harmonizing your habits, and then finishing off with empowering yourself. Now, this is a 7-stage journey, and I was privileged to take her on that. I'll share a little bit more about her story later on. And this has very much become the story of my mess. 2018, the cost my stress was having to me was astronomical. Depression finally caught up with me. I didn't have any energy left. And I didn't know what to do about it. So one night, it was in April 2018, it was a chilly autumn night. I picked up my bag. I walked out of the office. I walked out of the building for the last time, never to go back. I quit. I was done. I was finished. It was the most difficult decision of my career, and yet the easiest one to make. You see, back then, I didn't know what burnout was. I didn't know I had a choice. I didn't have a coach. I didn't have anybody to talk to, nobody I could trust. In fact, I was surrounded by people and yet very lonely. Does it ring a bell to anybody? You can't share a certain amount of things, but right, exactly. So who do you go to? Now, this became the first time in my life when I actually asked myself a key question. Who the hell am I? Now, I've discovered that when you're operating outside of your authentic self, your values and your purpose in life, not the societal programmed ones, your inside, your heartfelt ones. It doesn't matter what business you do. You will stress, you will struggle, and you will likely sink. How do I know this? Been there and done it 4 times actually since I left the corporate world, until I got the message the universe, God was sending me. And that's when I created my program. Now, if you're thinking, okay, this who thing, this breathing thing, well, what if you listen to the GOAT of tennis? Does anybody know who the GOAT of tennis is? GOAT, the greatest of all time. Novak Djokovic. Have a listen.
We're doing a series on athlete mental health, and I'm curious what's the most important thing they can do to take care of themselves this Olympic Games?
It's a great question. I think probably the number one thing is to learn how to consciously breathe. I think it sounds weird because we all know how to breathe. Obviously, it's automatic, but I think consciously breathing, really learning how to master that skill, because that helps with better sleep, better recovery, more presence in the moment, because we always travel from past to future. So I think breathing always centers you. So I think that's probably one of the most important advices. And then really trying to understand emotionally who you are, what's your background, the whole story of your upbringing. It's quite complex, you know what I mean? And so it takes as much effort as the physical effort that you put in as an athlete. So training the mental muscles is equally important.
I'm so glad to hear you say that. Thank you. Have a good time.
If I had scripted and paid Novak Djokovic, which I wouldn't be able to afford, he couldn't have got it better. Conscious connected breathing is all about hacking your body's operating system, using your breath, the power of your breath, and then knowing who you are. What an amazing testimony. So perhaps I've got your attention now. You don't know who I am, but most people know who the GOAT of tennis is. So I went on the search to discover, who am I? I needed to answer that question. And while I was doing my research, I discovered this thing called breathwork, or as I say, breathwork discovered me. And I just turned 50 at the time, and I figured, well, as I shared earlier on, I've been breathing for 50 years. I've got to be pretty good at it, right? Wrong. I learned so many things. I thought, why do we not know this? And what's the first thing that I learned? That when you shut your mouth and you breathe through your nose, it acts as a natural tranquilizer to your nervous system, automatically calming you if you're stressed or anxious. Now, I found this absolutely fascinating. And so I went to go and research a lot more. And as I did this, I slowly started to unpack and understand how stress had negatively impacted me when I was working at work, when I was working corporate. In fact, I learned that it's not the stress that kills you. It's your emotional reaction to stress that does. And your breath has the ability to control that emotional reaction. Stress is merely an emotional reaction to external circumstances. This means that you can change it. Now, why is this? Well, when you're feeling stressed, you naturally breathe poorly, which increases your stress and anxiety, causing ongoing health issues, and if you leave it unchecked, ultimately can lead to burnout. And according to the World Health Organization, 25% of people who hit burnout end up hospitalized with chronic medical conditions. So pay serious attention to this. Now in the chat, show me who here has experienced symptoms of burnout or has actually burnt out at some point in their career. Just raise your hands quickly. There we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Thanks. 6, 7. There we go. It is a real thing. So if you're feeling those symptoms, just know that you're not alone, but there's something that you can do about it. But the more I researched about these breathing techniques, the more I began to understand it gets more detailed. And I met this guy, and he introduced me and he taught me that breathing is not only about treating the symptom, but what you can actually do is get underneath it and root out the cause of your negative reaction or your stress negative reaction to these external circumstances. And he demonstrated this to me in a transformational breathwork journey. Now, I'm going to gift you something later on that you can experience this as well. In fact, I've got 3 gifts for you, so hang in there. Pay attention. And I can tell you, when I went on this breathwork journey, it is the most intense breathing I've done in my life. But wow, it was as if a reset button had been hit in my mind, my body, and my soul. And I felt the most relaxed, calm, stress-free than I'd done in years. I had no idea that the power of my breath could be so profound. And that these different breathing styles, it's not only about uplifting you when you're down and calming you when you're stressed and even actually helping you sleep better as well, but that a journey like this with a certain breathing style for a long period could actually get in and root out a lot of trauma and anxiety we carry in our bodies. And what is the first thing that I learned and the fundamental thing I teach all my clients about releasing their stress? Anybody want to guess what it is? Put in the chats if you know. What is the first thing that you can do in order to calm yourself if you're stressed or anxious? Anybody want to give it a shot? Breathe. Well, yes, that helps. Relax your eyes. All right. Shut your mouth. It's the style of breathing. Breathe through your nose. I didn't know this. Now you do. So I'm going to share with you 5 ways that you can hack your body's operating system by breathing through your nose. And the first one is shut your mouth. So the next time somebody says to you, shut your mouth, give them a huge hug and just go, thank you for loving me. The second one, taping, mouth taping, a small piece of tape. If you are a mouth breather, you snore. Taping. Micropore in South Africa, in America, called M3 tape. Small strip. Number 3, when you're walking anywhere, keep your mouth shut. Pay attention to how you breathe. Challenge yourself. When you're walking the dogs, you're on the beach, you're walking from your car to the shops, around the house, around your office. How are you breathing? Shut your mouth. And as you start doing more exercise, breathe more regularly through your nose. The benefits are massive. Number 4, become a conscious, connected breather. What our goat told us about. For a few minutes every day, while you're sitting working at your laptop, watching telly, reading a book, be aware of how you're breathing. Long, slow breaths in through your nose and into your belly. Number 5, become a heart-conscious breather. Mouth closed, breathing in and out your nose to the count of 5. While you're sitting, just breathe like that. It'll naturally calm you and has the most amazing benefits medically. You see, breathwork brings you back to neutral. And it's my mission that I share this message with other like-minded businesses and leaders and teams to inspire hope and growth and fulfillment in a very chaotic world. We can all understand that our daily stress is not going away, but once you learn how to control the power of your breath, you'll gain greater clarity in your day, which will influence how you feel, how you think, and how you react to stress as well. So learning to hack your body's operating system with the power of your next breath is the answer to your stress state. Now, you remember that client of mine, Cecilia. You can read her testimony over there. When I first met her, tears. Now she's got the most wicked sense of humor. She's found hope. She's discovered herself. Breathing was the catalyst to releasing the trauma for her to then rediscover herself going through my program. The most amazing lady, and she works about 10 days a week, believe me. So to continue helping, I'd love to connect. You've heard me a little bit. Take out your phones, please. Everybody got their phone with them? Take out your phone. If you haven't, I'll share this link shortly with you in the chat box. Scan that QR code. That's my gift to you. That's my gift. Scan this QR code. That's going to give you my book. An ebook I've written, Burnout to All Out in 60 Seconds, goes through a lot more detail of what I shared with you. Now, included in there, you're going to find a free complimentary from me, 60-minute breathwork journey so that you too can experience what I found from that guy who taught me about how to root out your cause of stress. And then there's in there as well, you'll find a link where you can connect with me for a 30-minute discovery chat. It's not a sales chat. It's a discovery. Let's connect. You've heard a little bit about me. I want to hear a little bit about who you are. So you remember at the beginning, I shared with you about Mark Twain, about the 2 most important days. Well, what if your 3rd most important day was the day that you connected with me to discover your breath of life? You see, when you control your breath, you control your life. And when you control your life, you control your destiny. So I'm going to leave you with a question. What would your life be like if you learned how to hack your body's operating system, 1 breath at a time? So my name's Tim Wagner. I'm here to help you stay inside the eye of the storm. And I look forward to connecting with you in the chats as well. Thank you.